Hudson and Barry Zito, two-thirds of the big three. Both climbed to stardom with the green and gold, staking their claim as two of the premier arms in the new millennium. Both moved on across the bay, living their baseball dream by becoming world champions with the Giants. Today, in a simple twist of fate, the two face off in their swan song, where it all began, the Coliseum. Zito, Hudson, A's, Giants, Game 2 of the Bay Bridge Series is next. Beautiful day for baseball at the O.Co Coliseum. Another sellout crowd is expected, and we got a special show. It's Hudson against Zito, and we've been looking forward to this for a while. A's won last night. They'll try to make it 2 in a row over the Giants this afternoon. So Game 2 of the 3-game series, it's the San Francisco Giants and the Oakland A's coming up on CSN California. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Indeed, a very special day at the ballpark. Zito versus Hudson. And let's start with Barry Zito. I mean, 2 weeks ago, he probably never imagined that this day would happen. I mean, he was back home. Minor league season was over, so he's got to be nervous. He's got to be excited, and let's hope he does well.
Cap, he wanted to build up his arm strength. He tried to do that when he did join the ball club. He decided to join the ball club, and now today he takes the mound. You look at his numbers as a member of the Athletics. He was one of the second. Actually, he and Mulder came following Tim Hudson, who joined the ball club in 1999. But what a great thrill it is for Barry Zito. He has his game face on. He had it when he got to the park today, and he is looking at this start. Even though he has not pitched a lot, he's looking at this as probably the biggest game in his career.
And let's not forget about Tim Hudson. What a terrific Oakland day he was, and 222 career wins. That number right there says it all.
San Diego, his major league debut, he struck out 11 in 5 innings. He also got a hit. He loves a hit, as he did at Auburn in his college days, but a great pitcher. 222 wins for a guy who's signed at about 6 feet, 160 pounds. Nobody thought he could pitch. Here he is pitching today. He has announced his retirement. We don't know what Barry Zito is going to do, but this could be the final time for both.
And a special day for us, special day for those two guys, and a special day for the fans, and maybe even an emotional day for the two guys that'll start this afternoon's ball game, Barry Zito and Tim Hudson, and we are all very much looking forward to it. So, Hudson, Zito, A's and Giants, Game 2 of the series. We'll have lineups and first pitch when we come back to the Coliseum.
CSN California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Taste the new spicy nacho chicken sandwich munchie meal tonight, only at Jack in the Box. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
Now the A's, led by Barry Zito, take the field for Game 2 of this 3-game series. The A's and the Giants. And Barry Zito, a big day for him. That's Barry's wife, Amber, and their young son. So she's going to enjoy today's game. Let's hope Barry enjoys it, and we're going to enjoy it as well. Game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open this weekend. Beautiful day, 74 degrees, just a very light breeze. And on a nice day, we are set for baseball with Barry Zito on the hill and Angel Pagan in the batter's box. And Zito kicks, and his first pitch of the game is on the outside corner for a strike.
Now Barry's velocity is not going to blow anybody away, but he knows how to pitch, and being crafty and knowing how to pitch is probably the most important thing for Barry this afternoon.
Pagan, second pitch, hits it toward left, or Fold is there, and that's out number 1. So let's look at the lineup for the Giants this afternoon against Zito. You saw Pagan, then it's Tomlinson, Duffy, Posey, Bird, Crawford, Williamson, Parker, and Brown.
And Barry Zito, who pitched for the Giants, took the year 2014 off completely, came back this year, pitched in Nashville, won 8 games, and spent the whole season in Nashville, and surprisingly, the whole time as a big leaguer, hardly ever on the disabled list of any, but spent some time there, and there was a question about whether he could come back and pitch, and all he's done is throw 3 pitches and 3 strikes. Fastball, and a curveball. The veteran Bill Miller behind the plate, I think that part is good. He knows balls and strikes well, does a good job behind the plate.
So 1-1 to Tomlinson. Strike down around the knees on the inside corner.
And one thing, Stephen Vogt, he was nice enough to join us on our post game last night, and first game back behind the plate catching Sonny Gray, and this is the game he wanted to catch. And day game after night game, forget about it. He had 3 weeks off anyway, so he was ready for tonight or today.
Sogard dives, and he just cannot quite get it. Heck of an effort, but Sogard just missed it. So let's look at the A's defense. It's Fold, Burns, and Reddick in the outfield. Valencia, Sogard, Laurie, and Canna on the infield, with Stephen Vogt doing the catching.
Well, the slow curveball on Eric Sogard at shortstop. He was a second last night, and a tremendous effort going after a softly hit ball into center field. Tomlinson made the contact, and it was on the low curveball.
So here's Duffy, and the first pitch is a strike. 85 miles an hour from Zito.
Barry at one time was throwing a cut fastball, but as he said, he canned it. Fastball, curveball, changeup for the veteran left-hander.
A little bit inside. Duffy at 299. It is 11th home run of the year last night. This is from 2013, his final year with the Giants. Lots of sliders. And as you said, Ray, not a pitch he really used with the Athletics, but it was a different time in his career as well.
That's wondering how much of that might have been related to a cut fastball that he did develop and was throwing quite a bit of that. And sometimes they'll look at it as a slider if it's a little bit bigger.
So 2-1 the count with Posey to follow. It was during the pregame, it looked like a playoff game, did it not?
Yes, it did.
And that's off the glove of Valencia, and it rolls into left field. Well, Valencia was going to have a play on that. It really was not hit very hard, but it just got through.
And he comes up with it. Might have been a double play, and Barry would have loved that to get out of the inning. Instead, it's first and second and one out.
Batting in the fourth position.
Well, in on the hands of Duffy and to the side, goes to the slide. Actually, Sogard was behind him. Might have had a play also to get at least the lead runner.
Expo brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. But yeah, there was cameras all over the place following mostly Barry Zito around. So 2 on 1 out for Posey. One rolled foul. 75 miles an hour on that pitch, and Posey way out.
His first pitch changeup, and figuring Posey's going to be looking fastball first pitch, and it came out of his hand like the fastball, but pulled the string nicely.
Couple of hits last night for Buster Posey. And this one fouled right underneath us, and the count is 0-2.
Kev, as I look around, I see every player wearing the pant legs up high.
You're right.
Every player. Some have the stripe like Sogard, but Reddick has a stripe. But Barry Zito, that is the look that we saw for so many years.
Hit toward left, full back now in, and he's got it. So 2 outs here in the first. Spanish audio for today's game is available through your SAP button, presented by Jack Daniels.
Right fielder, number 6, Marlon Byrd.
So Zito trying to get out of this first inning jam, and now he'll face Marlon Byrd.
Yeah, there they are, and that's a credit. And Marcana, Danny Valencia do it. Don't see him. Sam Fuld, of course, and Burns usually does, but everybody does. I think we had a shot in the dugout. Most, if not all, of the players on the bench doing the same.
First pitch to Byrd is high.
There they are. Good shot, Tommy.
It's a nice gesture.
That's great.
Tomlinson and Duffy are the runners, and it's a swing and a miss. Changeup at 75 miles an hour.
See that pitch right there, and first pitch fastball miss, circle change comes out of the hand, and see Marlon Byrd way out in front. And you know, that's how great the changeup is and always has been from Barry Zito. And because the velocity has dropped, his changeup also has dropped in velocity, and he's done a good job of doing that.
And that one's hit high in the air, right center, and hit well. Burns going back, and it is off the top of the wall. 1 run scores. Duffy being waved home. He's going to score. And the Giants take a 2-0 lead on a long double by Byrd that almost got out of here.
I went change up for a strike, but they came back with a curveball and left it up a little bit. And the ball just kept carrying, which is going to do. Last night it carried very well. This carried well. Zito was hopeful that it would stay in, and Billy Burns with his speed could get to it. Marlon Byrd hitting behind Buster Posey, and expected him to pull. He did not. Right center, and that close. High up on the Xfinity sign.
So Byrd picks up 2 RBIs, giving him 71 now on the year. And here's Crawford. Crawford takes a fastball for a strike. So 17 pitches here in the first inning for Zito. Shift is on for Crawford. Tries a hold up, and he did. Saw Crawford hit 2 balls to left field last night. One off the wall in left center, and the other one a base hit toward left center field. Fastball up, 2-1. Here's your umpires, as Ray mentioned. Bill Miller calling balls and strikes. Jim Wolf, Pat Holberg, Adrian Johnson round out the umpiring crew for today. To a pitch is foul back.
One thing I think is for sure, you have Zito pitching for the A's, Hudson for the Giants, and both pulling for each other. And that's the way they have been and always were, pulling for each other's teammates, and now even in different uniforms, still pulling for each other.
In the air toward Fuld. Fuld is under it. He's got it side retired. So a couple of runs on 3 hits for the Giants, and the A's come to bat against Tim Hudson when we come back. 2-0 San Francisco. Family in the suite along with the lefty Mark Mulder. That's Tim's wife, Kim, right in front with the sunglasses on, and his children. So a pretty cool day for the families involved as well. Here's the A's lineup: Burns, Canna, Reddick, Valencia, Vogt, Butler, Laurie, Sogard, and Fuld.
And to the song of Sweet Home Alabama. It's nice of the A's to do that for Tim Hudson as he takes the mound. 222 career wins, and back on the mound where it all started for him. 1999 debut in San Diego as a member of the Athletics, but of course many great years here.
Ball's hit hard on a 1-hop to Tomlinson, so 1 pitch, 1 out. So a nice moment when Tim Hudson took the field. He got a huge ovation, as did Barry Zito. Sweet Home Alabama singing on the loudspeakers. These guys got to, I mean, they got to be a little bit nervous, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't care how long they've played in the big leagues. I mean, this is a pretty special day.
Well, when Tim beat the A's in July over at, in San Francisco, that completed beating every team. The only team he had not defeated as a major league pitcher was the team that he started with, the Oakland A's. And that was accomplished there on 5 innings. 92 wins for the A's. Unbelievable.
Only 1 losing season. That was last year, and that's the year he won a World Series.
Yeah. Started Game 7 in Kansas City.
I was thinking, too, about these 2 guys last night, Ray. They had such great individual careers and great times as young guys with the A's, and then they got their world championship with the Giants. But I mean, this is a day that I gotta believe it's going to sit right up there when they look back at their careers.
Absolutely.
Cannon has a base hit to right field. I mean, whatever happens, it's so both these guys have defeated all 30 major league teams, and there's other pitchers to do it. Some great names on there.
Well, if you've accomplished that, means you've pitched a long time in Major League Baseball, and there are some great names, guys who had very, very long careers, great careers. Danny Boyer pitched to his number, 50.
And a long time in both leagues.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to pitch a while in a league to beat every team. Here's Reddick, who takes outside.
Well, that's a good point, because on that list you're looking at more modern era players, because you look back to Bob Gibson exclusively with the Cardinals.
He wasn't getting traded.
No, and he wasn't a free agent either. If he would have been, as Billy Williams once said, if all your peers were free agents, they'd say, how are you, partner, to the owners, because they couldn't afford them. They'd have to make them part owners.
Exactly right.
And so that's why it's different, because of free agency. Guys move, and as a result can at least have the opportunity to beat every team. Tim Hudson himself, like Barry Zito, not overpowering with a fastball, but he has a very good slider. He has a good changeup, good splitter.
Parker fighting the sun a little bit, as it is a nice high sky. Just a few clouds above us, but not much. Canna hustles back to first. Hudson's pitch usage. Still likes that fastball and tries to sink it as much as he can. Now, Ray, you look at that, and if you think back when he was with the A's early on, anything different there?
Yeah, the split finger fastball. The changeup at 9%, and of course, the splitter was one that was devastating. He and Mulder both had the split finger fastball, and I asked Huddy about that yesterday. He said the changeup turned out to be a very good pitch for him.
Tomlinson has it. Side retired. A's strand a runner, so we're through one. Hudson and Zito, and the Giants lead 2-0. We're kind of celebrating them today and tomorrow. And Tim Hudson came in 1999. Mark Mulder came in 2000. And Barry Zito came in 2000, a little bit later than Mark Mulder. And those three guys reached the postseason 4 times in the 5 seasons they were together. So they were together, as you look back, from 2000 to 2004. Here's Mark Mulder. He's got some young ones, right? He's got 3 children, I believe.
And, you know, I would like to have seen him not have that unfortunate injury to his Achilles last year.
Because he pitching right now.
He could have very easily been pitching, and it just he worked so hard to get back to the point that he could pitch again, and the unfortunate Achilles blowout on the first day.
Pop up behind first. Canna grabs it.
Should throw up his arms. I got it. You better. There's nobody within 100 yards of you, buddy. It's just letting not Bill Miller, that is Jim Wolf at first base, in case the umpire wanted to try.
Batting in the 8th position.
Now, Marcus played well, and it's a pretty good chance that he's going to play somewhere next year every day.
Zito's numbers here in this ballpark, 51 and 32. So 5 years they were together, Ray. 3 division championships, 1 wild card. They missed the postseason in 2004, but they won 91 games, and that went right down to the final weekend.
Yes, it did.
So in the 5 years they were together, 483 wins for a team. They averaged 96 wins per year. So those three and some great position play.
Oh, absolutely. It was the MVP at Tejada at short, Xavi at third, Mark Ellis, Jason Giambi, Ramon Hernandez behind the plate. So no, it was excellent all the way around. It just, it just could not get out of the division series, game 5s, and just unfortunately could not do it.
It's almost one of those head scratchers where you, now that you're removed from it, and it was 10 years ago, you look and you go, how did that not happen?
Right.
How did they not move past the first round? I think it's always going to be a little frustrating. I mean, they were loaded teams, man.
As that curveball knee buckler, as Parker just experienced from Barry, and that was just right here. This is what faithful saw. Watch the knee buckle. Ooh, and here it comes right into the strike zone, and you got no chance. I mean, if you're a hitter, especially lefty, there's zero chance.
That one's hit to left center. That's hit well. Fold going back, and it is gone. The youngster, Jared Parker, another home run. And this one to left center field, and it's 3-0 Giants.
Elevated fastball, unfortunately, and that is a pitch that they're talking about it now out of the mound. But after the knee buckling curveball, then a high fastball, they wanted it down. It was up, and well, like last night, and I don't know that any of those balls needed help last night. Definitely not this afternoon, and that ball just kept carrying the opposite field. Young man is strong, as he has shown. But it's all about the location of the pitch. You elevate a fastball away, especially with 2 strikes, it can do some damage.
So this is Trevor Brown, the catcher. Good changeup. Downward movement. So 1-1 the count. Brown is 2 for 14 on the year. Off the fist to the shortstop, Soga. 2 outs. And now to the top of the order, and Angel Pagan. Pagan sat out in center field and played right behind Barry Zito for a couple of years.
Yeah, that's what Barry was talking about, how much fun it's going to be facing players that he played with. Those were teammates, and you just mentioned one of them. Whether you can say you know him and know his style, basically you really don't as a player behind somebody. You think you might know him, but bottom line, you don't really think you're going to be facing the guy, so you're not going to pay that much attention.
Zito was with the Giants from 2007 through 2013. Toward left center, and full dives, can't get it, and it's to the wall. Pagan to second with a double. So that's the 5th hit off Zito. So the breakdown, and the numbers much better with the Athletics, obviously, with the Giants 63 and 80.
Now batting,
Really, when he got to San Francisco in 2007, they were not a good team. In his first 3 years, they were not very good. And he was expected to make them good, and that's asking a lot for a guy who will pitch once every 5th day. Swing and a miss by Kelby Tomlinson.
I remember talking to your brother as Dwayne, Krug, guys went through and talked about 2012, the elimination games. All of a sudden he stepped up and ended up winning the World Series. And but I think what Barry did in 10, whatever, he wasn't on the roster postseason, still worked hard just in case they needed him. And he did everything the right way, and that's just the person that he has always been. And you can't fault him for signing the contract. They offered, he took it, and that's it.
0-2 pitch. Shallow center. Burns is going to play it on a hop. Pagan's going to hustle around third. He's going to score, and the Giants lead 4-0. So Tomlinson drops a single into right center field. So that ball was up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, his fastballs are up, and even though Tomlinson got the ball in on his hands, being up and jammed him just enough that the ball did not travel deep enough to Burns in center, and because 2 outs, Pagan on the move immediately. You know, watching Sam Fold dive for a ball, that really was a tough chance when Pagan hit the double. He could have just come up short and had as a single, but he tried to get it done. Tried to.
So for the first time, action in the bullpen as Zito has now given up 4 runs and 6 hits as he faces Matt Duffy. On the outside corner for a strike.
And regardless of what happens today, I think we all have to look at this day as a pure positive, and no matter the results. And you know, Barry will take everything very hard, but the bottom line, he could have rejected the offer from the A's to come up and pitch. Could have stayed in Nashville, said thank you, but that's been my season. But here he is, and he's tried his best to get to the point where he had his arm strength to be able to start this game and pitch deep enough into it.
1-1 the count to Duffy, who singled and scored in the first. A little bit high, 2-1. Yeah, you hope that Barry isn't disappointed, but you know he wants to do well.
He wants to be perfect. He's always been the perfectionist type, to work hard, to try to make everything work just perfectly for him and especially for his team.
Good pitch there, and it's 2-2.
Well, a good fastball. It looked like Duffy was thinking off speed as he started, held up on what looked like a pretty good fastball, but that went in the location where he wanted it, and that was down.
That one's hit toward right. Reddick coming in, and Reddick makes the catch. Side retired. So 2 more runs on 3 hits for the Giants. Bottom of the second coming up. San Francisco 4 and the A's nothing. Raised in the American League from 1999 through 2004. Hudson second, Zito third, and Mark Mulder eighth. How about that? All 3 guys in the top 8 in the American League. kind of says how good they were. Hudson won 20 games in 2000. Mulder won 21 games in 2001. Zito won 23 games in 2002. So you had a different 20-game winner in 3 straight years. It's kind of cool.
And I thought the comment that was brought up about Tim Hudson, who always came in the dugout after warm-up and said, give me one today. That's all I need, one. And that's pretty much what he said in the final game against the Rangers in the first division championship for the Athletics. And he said, give me one. Well, they gave him 1 or 2 and then ended up winning. Avoided having to go back to St. Petersburg to take on the Rays.
4-pitch walk to Stephen Vogt to open up the bottom of the second. So that'll bring up Butler. Hudson now 40 years old.
Batting in the 6th position, designated hitter.
Looking at his
16.
strikeout totals in his career, 2,079, and this is his 478th career start. So he had the bad ankle injury a couple of years ago. And that one hits Butler, squirted out of the hand of Hudson. So a walk and a hit batter, and the A's got something going.
A slider, a frisbee, and Butler turning away, and didn't know which way to turn. Ended up getting him in the elbow. I think he has the protection on the elbow. But watch him, he kind of started it, didn't know which way, but the thud you heard was the protecting guard on his left elbow, which is a good thing.
Number 15, Brett Laurie.
So here's Laurie, who did not play last night. Laurie steps in at 267, 16 home runs and 58 RBIs. Hudson's velocity on his sinking fastball now around 88, 89, but when he was in his prime, I think he was probably 92, 93, and it was tough to hit. Missed again, 2-0.
I don't think there's any better nickname to have as a pitcher than Bulldog. And Tim Hudson, that has always been his nickname as you look at the numbers.
Interesting percentage of fastballs low, and it has creeped up each of the last 3 seasons. The ground ball rate, but he will always be able to get a ground ball. And that one hit to Duffy, who can't pick it up clean, and the bases are going to be loaded and nobody out.
Well, that was a double play waiting to happen. If he backhanded the ball, caught it, stepped on the bag across the diamond, possibly could have been a double play, but instead clanked it. And that is a great break for the Athletics, because the ground ball, as you just said, was there and looked like he was ready to tag the bag and throw. But look where the ball hit him, right at the tip of his glove, and he had stepped on the bag with no baseball in the glove.
So it is an error. The Giants make their 74th error of the year, 3rd fewest in the National League. So they've done a pretty good job catching the ball, but that was a costly one, and now the A's will try to take advantage with Sogard stepping in. Missed outside.
And I don't think you could have a better guy coming up in this situation there at Sogard. He's a good hitter. He's a patient hitter. They're playing him straight up in the outfield, straight up pretty much on the infield, double play positions up the middle. And just trying to make something happen in this inning, which has been a gift inning for the A's.
A walk, a hit batter, and an error. How about that?
Well, it's Christmas in September.
10 for 23 in his career as Sogard with the bases loaded.
Already a home run in this homestand, a near home run last night. And taking a couple of good sinkers from Tim Hudson, hoping that he would roll over. He has not offered at them yet.
That one not close, and now it's 3-0. On deck is Sam Ford.
Yeah, he's dropping his elbow and he's pushing the ball, and that's the reason he hit Butler. And the reason the 3 pitches to Sogard have all been outside. easy to say. He's got a lot of bullets in that arm that's been used, and to get on top and drive down through into the strike zone, maybe not as easy as you might think.
He did that time, and he gets it in for a strike. 3-1.
Looking for a sinker for the ground ball.
And he missed outside, and he walked in a run. So the A's are on the board. It's 4-1. So 4 batters have reached without a hit. You do not see that very often.
Well, the longtime pitching coach, Dave Righetti, he had a no-hitter on July the 4th, 1984. Familiar number 19. Remember when Barry Zito signed the long-term contract with the Giants in the spring training?
Yeah.
Barry goes to the full windup, and Righetti said, "What is this?"
Yeah, he changed his whole windup.
You get a little bit added velocity, and Drag said, "Wait a minute. You just signed this long-term contract. You're going to change your delivery now?"
That's a really bad idea.
Dave Righetti, one of the best. No hitters, a starter, and of course a great relief pitcher. And who would have thought that this would be happening after the first inning of Tim Hudson?
So action indeed in the Giants bullpen as Sam Folds steps up. Nobody out. And that pitch is low.
Now, Tim Hudson's looking for a ground ball, but the best thing a left-hand hitter could do, Sogard got the pitches outside, didn't offer. Sam Folds, think about left field, because if he pitches your way, you try to go with the pitch instead of trying to pull it. We want you to pull, get a ground ball, hopeful for double play, give up a run to get 2.
And that one is low, and now it's 2-0. Ground ball percentage very high for Tim Hudson. No surprise there. And that one misses low, and it's 3-0. So Butler trots home, 3 walks in the inning, and now it's 4-2.
If Bruce Bochy was thinking about taking Tim Hudson out in the middle of an inning, he might not want to do it this way. This is not exactly the way he had perhaps hoped, and I think Tim Hudson just cannot believe that he's lost his mechanics to the point of throwing a strike, and Righetti asking, "Are you ready?" down the vocal song. So got Canna, the right-hander, in the on-deck circle.
First pitch to Burns is on the outside corner for a strike. So 3 walks, a hit batter, and a very costly error.
An error that could have been a double play and a runner at second with 2 outs. Instead, the error occurred, and the A's have taken advantage of it.
Sinker is low. 1-1 the count. 5 for 11 with the bases loaded is Billy Burns.
He's already taken 2 pitches.
What's he doing?
That's right. Don't confuse us, Billy. Very difficult to double up. It's Billy Burns. They are playing back for 2.
That one tapped to Duffy. Duffy's going to come home, and they just get the out there. The throw was low, but Brown had a stretch and backhand, and I can't imagine that's easy to do with a catcher's mitt on.
No, it isn't. And Duffy, with the ball hit the way it was, the speed of Billy Burns, it should have been take your time, get the force at the plate, don't hurry, because you're not going to double up Billy Burns throwing to the plate and then the first base. And nice play by Brown, 2 backhand ball that he was hopeful that would be about chest high. And he couldn't come off and block it like a catcher, because that means he removes his foot from the plate and set up with both feet on the plate and making an adjustment, knowing that one was the possibility and the only possibility there.
So 1 away, base is still loaded, and here's Canha. Canha had a base hit in the first inning. Sinker low.
They still do not have the ball in the infield, but have scored 2 and a hit now could tie.
Sogard at third, Fold at second, Burns at first. Both bullpens with action. Venditti throwing in the A's bullpen. Not close. 2-0. Hudson is all over the place. And all that right there is in this inning.
8 pitches in the first inning.
Yeah.
8 pitches in the first inning on a 1 ball. 7-1. Rest out of this inning.
And he came right at him. Didn't have much of a choice, and Canha fouled it back. So now the count 2-1. Canha had a base hit in the first. Reddick will be next. That hit him. And another run's going to come in, and it's 4-3. Tough time for a manager right here.
I was just going to say the hardest thing for a manager under normal circumstances, but even more so today. And he just pushed the ball and hit 2 batters in the same inning. And he's walked 3 of the inning. And still the A's without a ball to the outfield. And Canha pulled his hand back. Still got him on the elbow.
So here's Reddick. And that one is low.
Capitalmos with Venditti warming up in the bullpen. It's like if Hudson comes out, Mullen might say, okay, let Zito go out to the mound, and he may be taken out, because Zito got out of the last inning, and now all of a sudden the A's are within a hit or something happening to at least time the game, maybe taking the lead.
Missed again. 2-0.
Okay, too, I think, is that we're trying so hard that maybe the normal.
You know what? That's it.
That's it.
He singled down to the bullpen, did Bruce Bochy.
Well, it's second trip to the mound, and it's not automatic. The fans don't like it, but you're going to hear an ovation here for the first of the big 3. It's going to be departing today's game.
So Tim Hudson's going to leave, and maybe not the way he had hoped, but he's going to get a huge ovation, and it's well deserved. So Hudson goes an inning and a third, and I didn't expect that.
No.
I mean, the wheels just completely came off here in the second inning, but a wonderful moment here at the Coliseum for really one of the best pitchers of his era, Tim Hudson.
I'm sure a decision that Bruce Bochy did not want to have to make, but we have to remember that they still are in this.
So Mark Mulder looking on, and the crowd still standing and still clapping, which is pretty cool. So as Vogelsong takes his warm-up tosses, I think the crowd would like to see Tim Hudson come out, but that's easier said than done.
Yeah.
So the count is going to be 2-0 to Redding. And the bases are loaded. Folds at third, Burns at second, Canna at first with 3 runs in. So 3 walks, 2 hit batters, and air, and not a ball out of the infield. And the A's have scored 3 runs, and they're looking for a bunch more. And Vogelsong's first pitch is swung on and missed. So when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. 22 starts this year for Vogelsong, 9 wins. And now it's 2-2. Vogelsong may have to be out there a while.
Speaking of there for a while, Vendetti's still throwing the bullpen, and makes you really wonder how much longer Barry Zito's even going to go in this game. Tim Hudson, not the way he wanted to finish here at the Coliseum, but he gave it his best, and unfortunately for him, he just lost the release point of his pitches that made him a 222 game winner. He will not get the win today, but a lot of hype building up to a special day, and I'm sure that factored into a lot, especially in this inning when it's tough for him to throw a strike.
So big opportunity for Redding. And he chops that one toward Crawford right at the bag, fires to first, and that's a double play. How about that? So when it's all said and done, the A's get 3 runs without a hit. So 3rd inning coming up. Giants 4, A's 3. Well, in the break, Tim Hudson did come out and acknowledge the crowd, which was a very, very cool moment. Put his hand to his heart. So he may be disappointed by today's outing, but he had some awesome moments here. So now it's 4-3, kind of a crazy first 2 innings. A lot going on. Venditti is warming up, and Barry Zito facing Posey, Bird, and Crawford.
And you almost have to wonder and think with Venditti warming up if it's kind of a batter to batter.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But I know Bob Melvin wanted to take Barry out mid-inning, which instead of at the end of an inning and send him back out, but see what happens in this inning.
Well, listen, there's a reason why Venditti's hot and ready to go out there.
Bob Melvin was concerned. He said, if I take him out, they're going to boo me. And I said, well, walk off with him, like Tommy Lasorda did. But I think regardless, these fans want to see Barry walk off, as Tim Hudson did. And Dick Callahan, a great job introducing, or at least mentioning, the active leader, 222 wins. And that's when the standing ovation and Tim Hudson came out of the dugout after they put it on him. And I'm sure it helped too that it was a double play to end the inning, and the Giants are still leading 4-3, and that softened it a little bit. Venditti's right arm is loose.
I think he's working on the left. Curve on 3-2 misses high to Posey, so the leadoff man is aboard.
And here he comes.
And that's going to do it.
And Bob Melvin with his pant legs up high, just like everybody else.
So let's listen to what's going to be a terrific ovation for one Barry Zito.
He has called for Venditti, and Venditti now just coming in.
May be strange too, Rays. He knows more guys in the other dugout than he does in his own dugout.
That's right.
And both dugouts were on their feet clapping. So quite a day here at the ballpark, and we've only played 2+ innings.
Pitching for the Athletics, number 29, Venditti.
So 2+, 6 hits, a walk, no strikeouts. He finished with 48 pitches. So I guess, Ray, baseball doesn't always follow a Hollywood script,
right,
but that doesn't mean that what happened today should be lessened at all because the two guys didn't pitch well.
Yeah. And the expectations of them pitching like they did 15 years ago. You know,
it's hard to believe
for that. Yeah, hard to believe. It'd been nice to think about it, but I think in both guys' minds that they had to be thinking that this is nice, but we, you know, Tim Hudson said it, Barry Zito both said it. I mean, you look at the number of pitches and the struggles for Barry in a couple of innings, and Tim Hudson in the bottom of the second, and Bob Melvin did exactly like he wanted, and basically now it's a game that the A's will continue to try to come back and win, and the Giants will try to at least extend another day because Colorado is hosting the Dodgers tonight.
So Venditti will face Marlon Bird, and then Crawford is next. Posey, the runner at first after the leadoff walk. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. So Venditti comes on. He's got a 1-2 record, ERA just a touch over 5. Bird with a big hit in this game. 2 out, 2-run double in the first inning.
It's his fault.
It is his fault. He started this whole thing.
I mean, he just
going off the track.
Yeah, he could have gotten jammed and hit a fly ball to left center field instead of a 2-out double.
Misses badly in the count, 2-1. Well, now we just got a regular old ball game.
Regular game. Yep. Another sellout crowd, and they got to enjoy a couple of innings, and 2 of the favorites coming back to pitch today.
Bird toward left, right at Full, who backs up a little bit. One away here in the third, and that'll bring up Crawford. Fans of both guys. A lot of them in the house.
Now batting, number 35, Brandon Crawford.
It's a good blanket.
That is a great blanket. Somebody spent a lot of work on that.
So here's Crawford, who hit a fly ball to left field to end the first inning. Sweeping breaking ball, and it's a strike in the outside corner. And he missed that one. Chased it. First one called a strike. Second one Crawford waved at. It's 0-2.
Well, the sweeping slider, we talk about the mirror image lefty and righty for Pat Venditti. So on a special day when Hudson and Zito face each other, and then you have the switch pitcher coming in to follow Zito.
How often does that happen? Same pitch, Crawford laid off.
Crawford's got a pretty good 2-strike approach, and I think that's what has enabled him to hit 20 home runs. Almost hit one last night to left center. Ball that was hit off the wall.
A shot. Nice play. Canna thought about going to second, then dropped it and gets the out at first.
Made a seminal play last night. This time it might have been a double play as hard as it was hit, and came up with it initially, then dropped it. At that point, he would have had to throw into the runner. When if he'd have caught this one, he could have taken a step maybe to his left, but very smartly decided to get the 1 out and make it 2, and then would force a 2-out hit for the Giants to score. That's when the game speeds up right there. That's when it becomes a very, very quick game. But quickly and realize get the 1 out for sure.
Here's Mac Williamson. Big swing, and he missed it. Williamson with a couple of hits last night, including his first major league hit. It was a line single to left. And that one is just foul. That one hung up there. And Venditti does not want to throw that one again.
That's a thank you that he got out in front and pulled it, because that one of those that said hit me all over it.
So 0-2. Williamson in the minor leagues this year, 13 home runs and 73 RBIs. Not a lot of room in the seats. And a foul tip, and it's hung on by Vogt, and that's how the inning ends. So a runner stranded, and we're going to the bottom of the third. 4-3 Giants. curtain call, nicely done. Happened in between innings. Barry popped out. Thank you, everybody. So everybody enjoying today. And like I said, now there's a ball game to win. Right?
Yeah. See the difference today, and with Tim Hudson going to the Giants. Talk about the number 75. Who's going to want 75? But Tim Hudson's 15 was the number happened to be worn by Bruce Bochy.
Yeah, you're probably not going to get that.
Right. And Tim Hudson very quick to say, no problem, just give me 17. Whatever significance there is to that number, but I think for Tim Hudson to announce his retirement, so it's already set. He's not going to make a comeback. And actually, Zito had pretty much designed himself to retire. And he's in Nashville before he got the call to come back.
And a broken bat base hit to left field for Valencia. The leadoff man aboard. So Barry's all-time ranks in Oakland A's history: 4th in wins, 4th in strikeouts, 5th in innings, 6th in winning percentage.
And the magical year of 2002, the 20 consecutive wins, Barry was the Cy Young Award winner, winning 23, and Miguel Tejada the most valuable player. So that great season highlighted with the 20 consecutive wins. Unfortunately, did not go beyond the division series, but still a great season for the Athletics, including 2 prestigious awards, Cy Young and the MVP.
Of course, Hudson was traded, Mulder was traded, Barry Zito was not. He played out his time and then became a free agent.
He actually did something that Hudson and Mulder really not able to. At least he helped the A's advance to the league championship series. Lost 4 in a row in 06 to the Tigers after sweeping the Twins. But I think from the 3 standpoint, it is surprising to look back and wonder why they did not advance and win at least 1 championship.
2-0 pitch in first strike. We apologize for some technical difficulties we are having. We'll get it straightened out. Two and 1 the count. And hit by Valencia, just the 2nd hit for the A's. And of course, the 2nd inning was a bit bizarre, where the A's scored 3 runs without a hit. The wheels kind of came off for Tim Hudson.
Aaron Brooks, one of the starters now in the bullpen. That sound warming up.
Two pitch is hit in the air, shallow right field. Bird coming in, still coming in. He's not going to get it, and it's fair. Valencia to 3rd, Vogt to 2nd, and it's a double. 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. Nothing more than a pop-up, just fell in the right spot.
Vogt out in front of a breaking ball, and probably disappointed that he didn't stay back and drive it deeper. And the fact that it just went up and almost like a parachute came straight down. Looked at the disappointed look on Vogt's face. Just missed a breaking ball. Just run it out. And Valencia actually had a pretty good angle. He saw the ball was going to drop, and he was able to go to 3rd. But Vogt, once he saw a little bit of hesitation and the fact that Beard could not get to it, go. What is that? You say, what about his speed?
Don't sleep on it.
Sleep on it. There you go. So I always refer to you because I
First smart aleck comment.
Well, Butler, ground ball out, any sort of a ball in play should make the tying run for the Athletics.
Curve is popped up. Hustling over is Posey, but it's into the seats. So 0-2. Laurie to follow.
career of Stephen Vogt to think that got back in time to catch last night or to catch today. Got to catch Barry Zito and be in this game. And sellout crowd last night. Same this afternoon. Let's not forget that honoring all three of the big three tomorrow in the series finale and the final game of the regular season and final home game, that is, here at the Coliseum. Should be a nice ceremony.
0-2 pitch, chased a fastball on a foul tip, and Brown, the catcher, holds on. So Vogelsong gets a big strikeout there.
Well, put the ball in play. You got a chance. Unfortunately, a swing and a miss, and that is really the veteran Vogelsong. They call it pitchers when they come into a ball game. There's a lead before the starting pitcher qualifies. They call them vultures. You know, got a lead, got a chance to get a win, but you also have to pitch some innings. And in this case, Vogelsong's a little bit of a trouble, but one big out.
Laurie hit that ball that Duffy misplayed in the second inning. A little bit high, 2-0. Got a feeling we're going to see a lot of pitchers today.
See, the A's have 18 on their staff. The Giants have 19. And you take out 5 starters, it's 10. And that leaves about 26.
Don't even think about it.
But didn't Bochy lose 9 one game?
Oh, yeah.
And that's why a position player should never have to pitch in September. But the White Sox, as we found out, Don Cooper said they didn't call up as many players and had to use 2 position players in a game in Chicago.
And 3-0 is outside. So 4th walk issued by Giants pitchers.
And for the second time today, Eric Sogard up with the bases loaded.
Second baseman, number 28.
Now, I often think that pitchers with first base open and they know that a ball put in play is going to net a run, that they probably don't mind walking a batter to set up a possible double play. And that's what Vogelsong did in walking Brett Laurie, although it looked like he was pitching to him aggressively enough to try to get him out.
So here is Sogard. Sogard rolls it fair down the third base line. 1 run scores. 2 runs score. Laurie to third. Sogard to second. And the A's lead 5-4. Right off the end of the bat. Just inside the bat.
Great description of Eric Sogard just reaching out and guiding the ball. That ball running away from him, similar to what Tim Hudson's pitches did. Vogelsong, same. Off the end of the bat. Duffy way off the line. The ball just inside the line. Over the bag. Just barely. And a fair ball called. Adrian Johnson, and second and third again. This time the infield in.
So the bases loaded double. So Sogard's got 3 RBIs today. First pitch is a strike to Sam Fuld. That's Cody Hall, rookie right-hander, starting to throw. And it's 0-2 to Sam Fuld. Double, single, and a walk in the inning. Parker fighting that sun. Laurie's tagging. Laurie will bluff. Stay at third. So Fuld, the fly ball, but not deep enough. So now it's up to Burns to try to get these final 2 runs home.
Now batting, center fielder,
It's already the third inning. You know, these are big.
A lot going on.
Big Dominic down there, though, authenticating, and he probably took every piece of whatever from the first couple of innings with Zito and Hudson pitching.
Burns hooks one to right, and it is fair. And 2 runs are going to score, and Burns is going to stop with a double just inside the line, and it's 7-4.
Last time we saw Mike Leake throw inside to Billy Burns, hit a home run, and another double. This one, the breaking ball right into him, and all it does is just drop the head of the bat on the curveball, and you know, maybe thinking you don't want to give him something to hit at first pitch. Well, anything is good for him. And a big 2-out hit, huge 2-out hit just inside the line, and that is very close. And with Billy Burns' speed, shut it down at second, but a big 2-out, 2-run double.
So here's Canna, 3rd double in the inning. First pitch is a strike.
And both doubles have come on the first offering.
Canna with a single, and then he was hit by pitch with the bases loaded. Hudson threw 34 pitches. Vogelsong has thrown 25. In the air toward left center. And Parker falls, and the ball falls, and another run comes in to score. He just stumbled and fell over.
And there's your tough sun field. Bruce Bochy out, so getting to it, you can see the reflection off his glasses. And even with the ball that was hit by Sam Foltz shallow, but boy, a very tough left field, son. And you're right, kept right there, and he just, his feet looked like he was ready to catch it, and his foot caught. Maybe his right foot touched his left calf as he was going for it. Maybe found the ball. I got it, and then Trip City.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. Sports in California is brought to you by The Walk. It's in theaters in October. A's have scored 5 times here in the third inning, and it's 8-4. And the new pitcher is rookie right-hander Cody Hall. 4 doubles in this inning. That last ball that Parker missed is ruled a double. Can't will take it. Missed again, 2-0.
But it's interesting that your comment between innings that this is the best game you've seen.
Yeah, this is the cleanest, most well-played game that I've ever seen in Major League history. Three and 0.
Managers have to keep going out to change pitchers between or during innings. They'll get in great shape, and I don't know that Bruce Bochy wants to do it too many times.
And a 4-pitch walk. So that is the 5th walk issued by Giants pitchers, and the A's have batted around. Here's Valencia. The A's have had 15 base runners in this game, and it's the 3rd inning.
And only 1 in the 1st inning. There was an opposite field hit by Mark Canha, who was hit 3 times already. This being the 3rd inning.
So the first pitch is wide. So Hall has come in and thrown 5 consecutive pitches out of the strike zone. Make it 6 consecutive pitches out of the strike zone.
Bochy's going over from first base saying, thank God I'm not catching today. But he's helping as a veteran catcher and helping the young pitcher. That's pretty impressive for Mr. Posey, the first baseman today. First base last night, of course, regular catcher for the Giants.
Valencia singled to start this inning. Another ball, 3-0. So 7 straight. Valencia obviously taken all the way, and now it's 3-1. At second, Reddick at first, and it's a walk. Walk number 6. So Dave Righetti will visit.
Miller was looking forward to this day with Hudson and Zito starting, but
not anymore. He's not.
Not anymore. This is approaching an hour and a half in the bottom of the 3rd inning. He said, Dave, what can you tell this young man? Bill Miller from down the south area from here has to be always happy to come to the Bay Area because he's to see his family coming up from the Watson area.
So again, the bases are loaded. We've said that a lot today. Vogt has walked, doubled, and scored twice. Not close. Off speed pitch, and it's 1-0. It's no fun being a position player right now. Yeah. Sinker for a strike. Good swing there by Vogt. Fouls it back to the lower level. So, you know, if it's a long game, you just can eat more down there.
In that section, you can eat as much as you want. And they hope the game's 4 hours long. And it might be.
Oh, I think you're well within reason there, Mr. Foss. I think we are in the 4-hour window.
Nice save by Brown, the catcher. Almost might have hit Bill Miller's right kneecap had he not caught it. That wouldn't have been fun. Bill Miller's already experienced some heavy loads here last couple of years, going back, I think, 2012 when he got a cross-up from Zach Greinke. Took it in the mask.
So the count remains 2-2.
There's our pizza guy.
I can hear him. And Vogt chased the pitch that was inside, but so he strikes out, but major damage done by the Athletics. They score 5 times, and it's 8-4 after 3. Enjoying the game. He also threw out the first pitch today.
And he threw a bullet.
That was impressive.
So Trey's his brother playing with the White Sox, but Marcus Semien catching him. It was a strike, thrown hard. And Not surprised that Marcus Semien was the one doing the catching, since they are friends. And Marcus, a huge basketball fan, watched the Warriors in their NBA championship. Teammate of Trace, who the White Sox, who they look very similar, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Brothers.
They look like brothers.
Yeah.
So he's getting ready to get back to work.
What if he was sitting in those same seats last year during right before the NBA championships and eat nachos?
That's right.
Which that also sounds pretty good.
Anything sounds good at this point.
Pizza, nachos, new pitcher.
When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change tune-up repair experts. It's Aaron Brooks out of the bullpen. So Zito, Venditti, and now Brooks. One hit hard, handled by Laurie, and Parker's out. So out number one. Gavin Newsom's enjoying the ball game. Lieutenant Governor of California. That's a good title.
Number 56, Trevor Brown.
So he's a good sports fan. And here's Trevor Brown. Brown grounded out to short in the second inning. So Venditti goes an inning. And a strikeout, retired all three hitters that he faced. Off the glove, and it's going to be a hit for Brown. Brooks kind of swung around, which you see pitchers do. Unfortunately, I think it probably would have been a ground ball to Sogard.
I think you're exactly right. And there's the. He thought he had it, did not, and deflected enough. And I think you're right. At least it would have been a play for Sogard to charge and make.
Ray, do you think the final score of this game is going to be 8-4? It's just like a. It's not a trick question.
If the game ends after 4 innings.
First pitch to Pagan, the leadoff man, is a strike. Pagan doubled and scored in the second inning. Giants had a 4-0 lead, but the A's with 3 in the bottom of the second, 5 in the bottom of the third. That one bounced to Laurie, who grabs it to second for one, back to first, not in time.
Trace Thompson for the White Sox got a curveball they liked from Sonny Gray, and that was a home run. He and Jose Abreu homered in the game, which Sonny went just 3+ innings. Home break he was. Trace Thompson also injured his left elbow in the 9th inning in a game in which the A's came back and scored 4 to tie it.
So Tomlinson steps in.
It's like Trace could play basketball and Clay could play baseball.
I think that's probably the case, yeah. Tomlinson with a couple of singles today and a run scored and an RBI. Strike on the outside corner for Brooks.
The one thing Aaron Brooks can do is throw strikes, and he proved that as a starter coming over from Kansas City. His first win against the Indians. But has pitched well and mostly in the rotation.
And at this point, Bob Melvin may get a couple innings out of him.
I thought you said he's going to go a pitcher an inning.
No, I don't think so.
Which he could. He's got enough guys to do it. As long as he sends them out at the beginning of an inning and not have to make changes midstream.
Let's see it. Straightens up. throws in time, and the Giants are retired in the 4th. Bottom of the 4th coming up. 8-4 A's lead. To tweet your strongest fan photo, use hashtag CSNCA DataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Bottom of the 4th, and the A's leading 8-4. Butler to lead it off. Cody Hall stays out there. He faced 3 batters in the 3rd, walked 2, but finished the inning with a strikeout. Butler, Laurie, and Sogard.
Like you said, probably ball 3, but Stephen Vogt went after what he thought was a pretty good pitch to hit.
So Butler behind in the count 0-2. Billy has been hit by a pitch and scored in the 2nd, and he struck out in the 3rd. Defense straight away for Billy Butler. That one hit hard but foul. Astros got a much needed win today. They beat the Rangers 9-7. McHugh got the win. Chichi Gonzalez got the loss in relief. Colin McHugh, 18th win of the year.
Seems like every game he starts. I know against the A's he pitched well. The end actually won the game to avoid a sweep by the A's over the Astros. Pitched well in Houston. So the curveball that they knew he had, he has proven that that's been his specialty pitch.
Tell you what, though, the Astros had a big lead in that game. Gregerson came in. He gave up 4 hits and 3 runs in 2/3 of an inning in the 9th, and he did not get the final out. They took him out. But the Astros did hang on, and they needed that. Butler drives one towards center, hit pretty well, but Pagan gets back, and he's got it.
Remember last night, Cap, we showed this split jacket worn by the great Steve Vucinich. He saw it last night, of course, showed it a few times. He said, young, right? He said there were 2 of those made. Harvey Hodgson, the former visiting clubhouse manager for the Giants, got one, and Voos. Both were working on the visiting side. So Voos said there were two made. I got one. Harvey got one. So that's a collectible right there for the big man. I hope so. I have to ask him.
I bet Voos still has it.
Yeah, I bet he does. He's got everything from 1968, so I would think that would be.
He's got it in a good spot.
He looked good 25 years ago. 26 now.
0-1 to Laurie. Duffy, a nice play, spins, throws, safe. So Laurie hustling, gets himself a hit. He's been on base all 3 times.
Ron Wood has gone to the phone. Bruce Bochy said, let's hang on. Let's see what we can look and see if we're going to take a look at it. Good play by Duffy, ranging far to his left, 360, slight hesitation. Laurie can fly down the line, and looks like they're going to take a look at it. Brett Laurie hustling down the line, and bang, bang, and is it definitive enough to overturn? We shall see. As he's out.
Yeah, I think he is out.
Looks like he's out. A nice scoop by Posey at first, and
didn't look like it from the naked eye, but that last replay certainly made it look like he may be out.
That's Jim Wolf making the call. There's Bill Miller, the crew chief. Yeah, Posey, a good job scooping the ball, and it looked like before Laurie's foot hit the bag. And he ran through the bag, didn't really jump at it, but it's going to be out.
And he's out. So our replay showed it, and so it's a 5-3 putout and a nice play by Duffy.
Right there, the scoop into the glove, the foot still had not hit the bag, and it did not take very long for him to say that it was not the correct call, but it was from New York.
So 2 outs. Here's Sogard. Sogard has walked, doubled, knocked in 3, and scored 2.
Still amazing, to look at the plays and how close they are to first base, and now with the review process, that foot just right at the top of the bag before it hit, and well, Jim Wolf called him safe, overturned. But they're that close.
Sogard bounces one. Tomlinson has it. So Giants pitcher has a 3-up, 3-down inning, and we're on to the 5th. 8-4 A's lead.
140,000 acres and destroy more than 800 homes. Help provide relief to victims who suffered significant losses by donating to the A's Community Fund at athletics.com/fire. Every dollar collected will be donated to disaster relief funds. Donate now at athletics.com/fire.
Top of the 5th, and it's the A's with an 8-4 lead. Duffy, Posey, Bird, so 3, 4, 5 hitters for the Giants.
You're right, Kai. Brooks getting an extra inning. He should have 1, 2, 3 last inning. Of course, 1 hit, that is, but then got out of it. But I think showing too, all these players, and we've talked about down the end of the season, play it right to the end. You know, your manager is, and he's also evaluating players for the future, especially the pitching staff, getting many opportunities.
2-1 now to Duffy. Matt Cain starts the throw. Swing and a miss.
List of injured players for the Giants almost reminds us of the Rangers from last year.
Bit.
A lot of injuries.
2-2 is bounced right to Laurie. And that's out number 1. Almost one of those things where you can stay afloat for a while, but at some point you're just missing too many players. Impact players.
And usually the teams that are successful,
Number 28,
look at the DL list.
Buster
If
Posey.
you have few on that list, then pretty good chance you're going to win. And Rangers are probably the team that stands out after last year to this year. Fewer injured players, many of the injured players coming back having strong seasons. The mantra in spring training: stay healthy. Stay healthy, you have a chance. Yeah?
They got 4 people with concussions.
It's hard to believe.
So you're talking about Aoki, your leadoff hitter and left fielder. Belt and Panic, the right side. Hunter Pence, probably the heart and soul of their team. Valencia has it. And Brooks gets the first 2 outs.
Surprising thing, you look at the list of the players with concussions, not one was a catcher.
Nope.
So it makes you
Now batting, number
understand
6,
that how
Marlon Bird.
teams are looking and leagues looking at concussions and just not foul balls off the catcher's mask. I know Justin Morneau, we mentioned him.
Yeah.
Get kicked in the head a couple of years ago, missed a lot of time.
It's funny you saw Nori Aoki, who got hit in the head by a pitch, but it was in June. And he came back and played for a while, but just hasn't felt good. Down the right field line, trouble, and it's fair. Bird hustling to second, and Marlon Bird's got his second double.
Always amazed when a right-hander or left-hander down respective lines can hit a ball and it doesn't slice.
Number
Down the right
35,
field line, you figure it's going to
Brandon
slice, and
Crawford.
just drop straight down and spin of the baseball and stay inside the line just enough. And you had Billy Burns from the left side hitting one down the right field line that just stayed fair, and that was hooking.
So Bird with a double, and here's Crawford. So Bird a pair of doubles today. Interesting situation with Marlon Bird, Ray. I don't know if you read about it, but he's got a vesting option, which means the option becomes you're with the team next year, but it's based on a certain amount of plate appearances for this year. And he's basically right on target where if he were to play every day the rest of the year, his contract would kick in for next year. So the A's or the Giants have to decide, do we want him next year? It's an $8 million option, still a pretty good veteran player. But if they let him play out the rest of the year in the lineup every day for their final, what, 8 games, he's probably going to get that.
Right. And
so that's a decision as an organization you have to make, and it's not an easy decision to make.
And it's usually the manager say, I want to know nothing about a contract.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to play who I feel is capable of helping us win.
Sure.
And if and when the Giants are eliminated from any postseason play, that could change drastically because of the roster that they have. Bird being a veteran, it might be more of let's see what the young guys can do.
Well, you know what? And you're right. But the Giants have a chance to be eliminated tonight.
Yeah,
if they lose and the Dodgers win tonight. So you may find out starting tomorrow whether they want Marlon Bird back or not. That means you're already thinking about next year.
Right.
You indeed bring him back by playing him the rest of the year.
And on the player's side, you say I don't want to play because I want to be a free agent and maybe I can get more. But a vesting offer is good, and I think especially from the player standpoint, because from the team they know that he wants to play and he's going to play. And like a guaranteed, a full guarantee where you're going to get the money regardless.
Well, it's I mean he's an older player, but still a very productive player.
Yeah.
I mean this is a guy who's got 22 home runs. Still plays pretty good defense from what we've been told. Two and two the count to Crawford. Crawford's 0 for 2. Just a little bit low. Boy, that did not miss by much.
Let's also start looking at players under contract and which contracts are going to expire.
Yeah.
Free up money and how much money they have to spend. Either go out and get free agents. There are going to be some pretty impressive free agent pitchers available. One named David Price for sure. Pitching now for Toronto.
3-2 pitch, just a bit outside, and Crawford has a walk. So second walk by A's pitchers this afternoon. Well, Giants are in that category that you're talking about. They have nearly $50 million in contracts expiring.
Number 51, Mac.
Which includes Hudson and Lincecum and a whole bunch of names on that list. But so then you got to make sure you spend it wisely.
Yeah.
Here's Mac Williamson, 2-out rally. Fastball in. Williamson a foul out and a strikeout so far. A little flare. Laurie out, and Laurie makes a nice catch. It's like he was feeling a punt right about the 20-yard line. So a nice play by Laurie, and the Giants do not score in the 5th. 8-4 as we go to the bottom of the 5th.
now. Get on board early with 2016 priority seating and choose your exact seating location for next season. He's offered a variety of full and partial season plans that qualify for great benefits, including half-price parking, a flexible ticket exchange program, and more. For more information, call 510-638-GO-A's or visit athletics.com/2016. They're all ready for a new season.
So Sam Fuld swings and misses. Bat sails past Ty Wall. So bottom of the fifth, Fuld, Burns, and Canna. And they're facing a new pitcher. It's Matt Cain, trying to get healthy. So Matt Cain, the leader of the rotation for many years, but arm surgery or elbow surgery last year. Missed quite a bit of time. Trying to come back this year and still dealing with some injuries. Bird tracks it down. Fuld is retired. The Giants trying to get him right for next year.
That's a huge contract.
That's a big one. A couple more years left.
Batting center fielder, #1, Billy Burns.
So here's Billy Burns.
It's almost like it's bad luck if a pitcher pitches a perfect game, because so many have not. Felix Hernandez, I guess, maybe one that really stands out. Roy Halladay had to retire. Of course, you know about Dallas Braden, had shoulder injury right after that. Cain has struggled with injuries. Philip Humber, where's he?
I don't know.
Just another bruise on your arm. A foul ball, and Brown got it off the left arm. And it got him flush. Just a foul ball, missed the glove, got him in the left forearm.
So 0-2 to Burns. Foul territory. Posey's shading his eyes. He's got it. So Burns is retired. The Giants' two backup catchers, Susac and Hector Sanchez, both injured. Buster Posey a little banged up. So they really are going down to Double-A to get a couple catchers.
You know, just watching Brown take that ball off his left forearm, and you know, people think about collisions at the plate and how it hurts catchers. There are just as many bumps and bruises you get on foul balls, foul tips. You probably get more of those than you actually have collisions at the plate. Of course, Buster Posey had the huge one a few years ago that forced him to have to miss a lot of time. Was that ankle, part of the leg, whatever? But you know, that was on a collision, probably unnecessary as far as the runner hitting him the way he did. But still, you're going to get hit, and every time you get hit while you stay in the game, think about putting a bat in your hand. You try to squeeze it. Where he got hit in the left forearm, you're feeling it. Buster Posey is a great catcher, a great hitter. He still wants to catch. Joe Mauer now exclusively at first base.
And I think it's easy to say, well, you know what? Posey needs to move to first. Well, he doesn't want to yet.
Exactly. Yeah, right. He wants to
he
catch.
may 2 years from now. And if he's your franchise player and he still wants to catch, then he's going to catch.
And realizing the bumps and bruises going to go along with it. I mean, we see Stephen Vogt beaten up all the time with foul tips off his body.
Yep.
You know, it definitely affects. But I think your point, and you know, somebody said to me about collisions, I said, well, if you don't want the catcher to get hurt, and he's your hitter, don't have him catch. But if the guy wants to catch, you have to give him the credit to say, yeah, I want to. And Buster Posey's in that category. So Bruce Bochy, the manager, former catcher himself, realizing what a catcher has to go through.
Pagan racing back, still going back, and he reaches out and makes the catch. Looks like it's a tough sun today. Sixth inning coming up. A's 8, Giants 4.
Spring training trip right now as home dates for games at Hoboken Park have been announced. Enjoy a first-class experience. Get an early glimpse of next year's squad at the A's all-new spring training venue in Mesa, Arizona. For more information, visit athletics.com/spring today, because schedules are out. A's know when they're going to be playing, who they're going to be playing. Spring training always the best time of the year. Mesa, Arizona.
6th inning. And Aaron Brooks out there for his 3rd inning, and what he's done is he's settled things down, which in games like this is important. He's the settle down guy. He'll face Parker, Brown, and then top of the order Pregame. Parker homered to left center off Zito in the 2nd, and then grounded out to 2nd in the 4th. And did we establish that the home run he hit last night may be the longest we've seen him?
Yeah, people say that there have been a lot up there. I've never seen one hit up there during a regular game. I've seen sweet glasses hit. The windows hit, but not over the sweeps. Now, McGuire hit one, I guess, when they were constructing Mount Davis, but I don't even know if it was that high.
That one went right above the suites into the 1st row. And of course, Sal Fasano hit one. In fact, I think it was against the Giants many years ago. And it hit one of those planes of glass out there, and I think it cracked it and hit it right in the corner. And did Cespedes hit one up there?
Yes, he did. That was in 2012. Hit one to left center field, and then next night hit one to right center field, but not above the suites.
And you see the top of the suite windows, and then that concrete and a barrier. I mean, that's another 4 feet maybe above that, and that's where it landed. So anybody who thinks they've seen a ball go up there, they didn't until last night.
Yeah. And a very still night, no wind, no
and it was carrying too.
Yeah, it was jumping, and that one jumped. It's like the one he hit in the 2nd inning to left field.
1-2 the count to Parker. And strike 3 called on the outside corner. Parker can't believe it. He thought it was a touch outside.
He'd start to run a little bit and held up his swing, according to Bill Miller, just enough for the corner. A change up, and that's one of the specialty pitches for Aaron Brooks.
So here's Trevor Brown, swings and misses. 2 teams got in last night into the postseason, the Blue Jays and the Cubs. So congratulations to those 2 teams. Blue Jays still trying to wrap up the AL East. They just guaranteed themselves a playoff spot.
And many were thinking the Cubs would not be paying attention, but seems like some of those were paying attention. Dexter Fowler has indicated that he was watching, and he said, I never thought I'd pull for the A's as much as I did last night.
Excuse me, Ray. Yeah. And it was funny because the Cubs, so they were in, and they played today and lost 4-0. And when they got to the clubhouse, celebration, full steam celebration. And that is fair, right over the bat. So Brown with a 1-out double.
And young Scott, his counterpart in right field, was chasing the ball. He thought it was foul. He was running down and trying to catch the ball before it got to the bullpen of the Giants. Unfortunately for him, the ball got past him because he was running after, see if you can see him. Here he goes. Go get it. No, it's a fair ball. Leave it alone.
Get out of there.
So the catcher said, stop. Where are you going?
He stopped, turned around, and jogged back.
Scotty would never do that. Scotty knows fair or foul. I mean, he definitely knows.
So 9th hit for the Giants. Here's Pregame.
Well, if there's a team that deserves to celebrate, no matter what it takes to get in the postseason, with the Chicago Cubs. And to think what's going to happen, and eventually it will happen, if the Cubs will win a World Series. The city of Chicago, 1908.
It'd get a little weird there, I think, if they won.
Wow.
And they say they did a good one.
Yeah, it was getting a little weird when we were back playing the White Sox, because people were saying, man, everything's happening on the north side. And that would be in the Chicago area.
You know, and the Blue Jays' longest postseason drought, that's over.
That's right.
So they are off the top of that list.
It's 93. That's the last time they won the World Series. That's right. So Tim Hudson and Barry Zito, starting pitchers today. Neither one got a championship ring here, but both across the bay. And both in the dugout. That's pretty neat. Kind of soaking it all in. Maybe they'll stare down each other like pitcher and an umpire did. You know, look across and say, you go in, you stay, I stay.
Probably won't even get in trouble for it, Big Joe West. Must be nice, huh?
Yes.
You don't have to worry about getting in trouble. You can do whatever you want.
See, if you're singing cowboy, you can do those things.
Yeah. Just do whatever you want. Professional or unprofessional, it doesn't matter. It's 1-2 to Pagan, who's 1 for 3 with a double. It's it high and foul.
Cap, we've talked about Big Dominic, the MLB authenticator down by the A's dugout, that he and Eric Farrell. It seems like every ball that does not go into the seats, they authenticate it. Foul ball, Pagan. 6th inning. There's Dominic. At least he's got a white shirt on today because it's a little bit hot out there, Dom. But they're authenticating everything. I mean, it's unbelievable. They're probably authenticating it by saying, game started by Barry Zito and Tim Hudson.
I guess.
They've been out for quite a while.
We're going to work on that.
Don't put it back together, it'll be fine.
See, in his right hand, those are the holograms they put on everything, and then they've got a computer, they register it, and you can take the number on an authenticated item and go to the computer.
Do you think Dom's getting too much TV time?
I think so.
I do too.
Yeah. Well,
where do we have him?
Look at him.
Dallas.
What the hell's wrong?
Way too much TV time for Dom. I mean, we love Dom.
Well, what he was doing in Dallas is not what he was doing now. that was party time in Dallas. Yeah. I mean, fist pumping in one hand and the other hand with a beverage.
And that's a base hit to right field. And they're going to wave home Trevor Brown, and he'll come in to score. So now it's 8-5. So Pagan rolls one into right field. He's got 2 hits and an RBI.
Another off-speed pitch. He just went out, kept his bat back, and raked it past first base into the hole between first and second. And since the ball is on the ground, runner at second could break on contact. He'll score easily.
Tomlinson.
So now Tomlinson, and then Duffy. Charging is Sogard. He'll get the out at second. Throw to first is not in time. So it'll be a fielder's choice. 2 outs.
You know, there's a song about you got to know when to hold them, when to fold them.
That would have been a hold them.
Eric Sogard, he knows they're only going to get 1 out, so he's going to flip quickly to Laurie, and Brett Laurie decides he's going to take it bare hand and try to turn it on the plate. Canna coming off the back, good idea. Think back to the MVP of 2002, Miguel Tejada. At shortstop, I remember he wanted to make every play regardless of a chance or not, and he made more errors and finally just calmed down. Ron Washington convinced him that there are times, Miggy, that you're not going to get the out. I think Brett Laurie, playing a lot at second base, probably feels that no matter the way the ball is hit, he can turn 2.
First pitch to Duffy, just a bit outside. Blue Jays won their game today 10-8. And David Price got his 18th win. So he's now 18-5 with a 2.45 ERA.
Seemed like 8 or 9 with the Blue Jays.
Yeah, he's been great with the Blue Jays. He only went 5 innings today, so he was not at his sharpest, but good enough for the win. He beat Chris Archer.
They may look at that acquisition by the Blue Jays comparable to CC Sabathia going to the Milwaukee Brewers and pitching every 4th day.
Driven to right center. That's going to get down for a hit, and it's going to go to the wall. Tomlinson is a very fast runner, rounds third. The throw to the plate, just a bit wide, and it's 8-6. So Duffy, a double that knocks in a run.
But everything looking great for Aaron Brooks. And now bullpen activity, Fernando Rodriguez and Drew Pomeranz, righty and lefty, and good swing, 1-0 count, and good opposite field hitting by Duffy. Reddick really hustling after it in right field, knowing that the speed, as you mentioned, is there to try to score. Does it the inning though.
So here's Kurt Young. So Brooks was very good in his first 2 innings, but giving up a couple doubles and a single and a pair of runs here in the 6th. So still a lot of ball game left. Rodriguez and Pomeranz.
Hang with him, Kurt Young. You only have another week. That Achilles taken care of.
7 more games, Kurt. You can do it.
Kurt, Adam Wainwright's going to come back and pitch a postseason. Blew out his Achilles. Now Kurt's probably going to get it taken care of when he gets back to Arizona.
So here's Posey. First pitch strike. 0 for 2 of the walk. Posey shooting for 100 RBIs. He's 7 away. Giants have 8 games left after today. And that's a base hit left center field. Duffy's going to score, and it's 8-7. Tried to stay on it, didn't try to do too much, and hit it right back up the middle.
Pretty good hitter. And Lester Posey showing a couple of hits last night to right field. This one, the breaking ball, just hooked it into left center field. Not much chance, but Bob Melvin trying to go to one of his pitchers, and all of a sudden a game that you're concerned about the potential time run coming to Clayton Posey just made it a 1-run game.
So Rodriguez coming in trying to get that 3rd out. Giants have scored 3 times.
The call to the bullpen is brought to you by Bantel Networks. Over 30 years of Bantel Networks.
Sportsnet Central this evening, and it's at 6 and then again at 10:30. And it's on our sister station, Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. All the highlights from the Barry Zito-Tim Hudson game here today. Raiders and Browns, we'll have a preview from Cleveland. 49ers and Cardinals, a preview from Glendale, Arizona. Kelly Johnson and Henry Wolford will host. Well, just when you started to feel a little bit comfortable, Giants come back and score 3. Still batting here in the 6th inning. So Rodriguez comes in to face Marlon Byrd. So 4 hits in this inning, 2 singles, 2 doubles, and 3 runs. First pitch to Byrd. Backhanded. Valencia straightens up. His throw across the diamond is in time. What a play by Danny Valencia. And a nice play on the other end by Canna as well. So that would have been extra bases, but the A's defense comes through to end the 6th inning. 3 runs for the Giants.
Versus a rewind. It's been about Tim Hudson and Barry Zito, and the two took the mound today for the final time at the Coliseum. Of course, one with the Giants, one with the A's. Tim Hudson out early, but acknowledged. Standing ovation, and the fact that 222 wins, same for Barry Zito after he came out. And then he relieved him, and Barry Zito staying on the bench and acknowledging the sellout crowd, and a standing ovation from them as well. So both Hudson and Zito performing today. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PICK-ATT, mobilizing your world. Didn't last long, but got to enjoy perhaps one final time on the same mountain.
So bottom of the 6th, it's now an 8-7 game. Matt Cain had a 3-up, 3-down 5th inning. Reddick is 0 for 2 with a walk. It's this one high in the air to right field. Byrd waits for it, and he's got it. So that was just moments ago. Barry Zito headed back to the clubhouse to call it an afternoon. Up the tunnel.
Now batting, third baseman, 26.
Probably trying to get something to authenticate on the way. Barry, let me have your hat. No, it's Barry went up that tunnel many years, up the stairs into the A's clubhouse.
So would you say, Ray, that some nights those stairs seem very short, and some nights they seem very long? You walked up those. Hasn't changed a whole lot.
No, it hasn't. Water's still running down the side.
Crawford cannot get it, and Valencia has a hit, and Valencia held the bat handle, and then it flipped out of his hands near Buster Posey, and it's another hit for Valencia.
Well, another broken bat. His first hit back in the third inning, similar. This, though, I think he was saying he couldn't get the bat out of his hand as he walked down or ran down the baseline. Look at the pine tar stuck with the bat handle into his glove, batting glove. Crawford, nice effort. Looked like the sun got him right at the last instant.
So Valencia 2 for 3, 2 singles and a walk. And here's Stephen Vogt. Seventh hit for the A's.
So you asked a while back, do you think the score will be 8-4 at the end of the game? How'd you know?
What a genius, huh? Yeah, I mean, you could look at this game and it's 8-7, and the Giants have out-hit the A's 12-7. I think walks have been the difference in this game. The walks just kept extending the second inning and the third inning.
Well, 6 walks total, and 3 have scored for the A's, and all 3 of those coming in the third inning of the second inning.
Coming over is Brown, the catcher, and he's got room. Valencia bluffed like he was going to go to second. I don't know that that was necessarily going to happen.
Always amazed when catchers do not get rid of the mask, and it's much easier to use 2 hands than 1 hand. But he kept the mask in his right hand and reached up and caught it with 1 hand. I always thought Derek Norris did that a lot too, and I always thought you can clean the mask. You know, throw it, get rid of it, use 2 hands.
And you know what, Ray? I'm going to guess here. That's why Valencia bluffed him like he was going to go to second, because in his throwing hand was the mask.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And I bet Valencia saw that and said, why not just bluff?
Shoot up a flare.
Maybe his finger gets caught in the mask and he can't get it off his hand. Who knows? Josh Osich, a left-hander. Because you saw then he dropped the mask and put the ball in his hand to throw it.
The other saying is too that if you use 2 hands and you go up and the ball happens to hit off your glove, you have both hands come down and try to catch it on the rebound.
Two away here in the 6th. Billy Butler has been hit by a pitch and scored. He has struck out, and he has hit a fly ball to center field. Butler's batting average sitting right at 250. Home run last night was a big one. And this one is belted down the left field line, and it hits the foul pole, and that's a 2-run shot for Billy Butler. 10-7 A's lead.
That's a big boy home run. Sounded great. Opened up the big hips on a fastball for Matt Cain and absolutely crushed it. And he looked. He knew he had the distance and upper part of the foul pole. Bang! Right there. And surprised it didn't stick into the netting or the hard fabric, because that ball was smoked. And a little bit of a cushion for the Athletics with a 2-out, 2-run home run by Billy Butler.
So 6 home runs now in the month of September for Butler, so he's finishing strong.
Well, last night, of course, to right field. That's where most of his home runs have gone, to right field, right center. But
and a line drive into the glove of Duffy, side retired. But the A's get some important insurance runs as Butler with a 2-run homer. So we're on to the 7th. It's 10-7 A's lead.
Ladies and gentlemen,
strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to CSNCA Data Strong Fan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. And today's fan photo is from Melissa Mazzara. Team Zito since day one. So a nice day for Zito and Hudson. Maybe not the performance they had hoped for, but I think when it's all said and done, they'll appreciate the love they got today from the fans from both sides of the bay. So a wild game this afternoon. Just the 7th inning. It's 10-7. Ana Rodriguez back to work. So Aaron Brooks ends up going 2 2/3 inning. Gives up 6 hits and 3 runs.
4 of those hits in the last inning and came with some 2 outs. Actually, a couple of them did. Helped pull the Giants to within 1 run, but nice of Billy Butler to jump on another fastball and this time pull it on the left field line. Finished strong, carried the offseason, and continued next spring in Mesa, Arizona for the 2016. Butler signed for 2 more years.
Crawford, Williamson, and Parker. Paul Moran's getting ready in the bullpen. And now 2-2. Crawford is 0 for 2. He walked in the 5th inning. Just got a piece of it, fouled it straight back. Curve, line toward left center, and a nice running play by Sam Ford.
Get a good jump. Hope the ball slices back just enough off the left-hander's back. Sam Ford got the great jump, and Crawford looked like extra bases, but Super Sam got to it. No leaving of his feet this time. We saw him in center field in Houston, left field, so he's moving around in the outfield, but playing exceptional defense regardless. And last night, 1-run game, tagging up on a fly ball to center, and he pointed out after the game he saw the center fielder back on his heels just enough that he could tag first, go to second. Scored on a 2-out hit by Reddick.
So 1-0 to Williamson. And that one looped over Laurie's head in front of Reddick. Williamson has his first hit today. And that's hit number 13 for the Giants. And Bob Melvin out, and he's going to go to the bullpen. With Parker, left-handed hitter, coming up, he wants Pomeranz.
Think he's trying to win this game?
Yes, he is. So we'll be back. 1 away with a runner on here in the 7th.
brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity, home of the most live sports.
So top of the 7th inning, so Pomeranz comes in. So he's going to face the left-handed hitting Parker.
Number 47, Jared Parker.
53rd appearance for Drew Pomeranz. 9 of those were starts. So Parker steps in. He's 1 for 3. And he drives one to center. Burns going back, still going back, and that's gone. Parker's done it again. A 2-run shot to straightaway center field. Who is this guy?
A's are finding out.
First pitch fastball.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter, lefty or righty. Very quick swing, straightaway center field. No need to have an afternoon game to help that one travel. So they say don't think about September, but I think Giants are paying attention to this young man in September, just like the A's paying attention to Ryan Doe.
First pitch swinging. Brown pops one down the line, and it falls. And Brown's hustling for second, and he is out.
What a recovery by the strong arm outfielder, and they're going to take a look at it. At least Bruce Bochy's out in the top step.
Well, Brown never left second base, so he must think otherwise. He looks out.
Yeah, he does look out, and fortunately Reddick was the one that picked it up. The other guys got out of the way. And they're saying, come on back, because Josh Reddick just threw a bullet to second base, and Sogard tagged him the backside, every place. And the second base umpire making the call. Excellent throw by Josh Reddick on a ball that blooped in. And it looked like if there hadn't been so much confusion in the right field, Reddick could have continued to run and catch the ball. But he came up short, ball popped up, he got it, threw a bullet to second. That's a big out. So single 9-6, and instead of a tying run been at second, 2 outs.
Breaking ball, strike to Pagano. Pagan's 2 for 4. Switch hitter, so swinging it from the right side. Good pitch there with a fastball, 1-2.
Seventh inning, 10-9.
Yeah. Pomeranz is the 5th pitcher for the Athletics. Curve, and Pagan rolls it foul. So one of those runs is charged to Rodriguez. Shallow right center, and Reddick makes the catch. Side retired. Parker with a 2-run homer, his 2nd homer of the game. So 7th inning stretch from the Coliseum. It's the A's 10, the Giants 9. To 9. A lot going on today. So the new pitcher is rookie left-hander Josh Osich, 1-0 with a 1.90 ERA. His 31st appearance. He'll face Sogard, Fold, and Burns. First pitch. 96 miles an hour, in for a strike.
Well, last night after the A's saw the Giants come back to make it a close game, they kept adding on and turned out to help them win a one-run game, something that has been unusual on the season for the Athletics.
Now the Butler home run looks huge. Dan Otero is loosening up. Hard slider. Sogard missed it. Sogard is 1 for 2. A double, a walk, and 3 RBIs. He's also scored twice, so very good game for Eric Sogard as he is playing shortstop this afternoon. And he got him swinging. Just the 3rd strikeout for Giants pitchers today.
Pitch is close enough that Sogard had to offer, and this hard slider ended up being out of the strike zone, but close enough that Sogi had to swing, or at least think about swinging.
So with 1 out, Sam Fuld hits. So Dole gets up with Otero. A little bit high with a fastball. Sam Fuld today walked with the bases loaded in the 2nd. Fly ball to left in the 3rd, fly ball to right in the 5th. Taps this one toward the second baseman Tomlinson. 2-1. And now the top of the order in Burns. Another big hit in this game for Burns. A 2-out, 2-run double in the 3rd. And then remember the next play? Parker missed the fly ball. That would have been the 3rd out. Run scored. And it's a one-run game now.
But he's hit 2 home runs.
Oh, that's true. You're right.
He's let's see, he's allowed 1, driven in 3.
So Burns overall 1 for 4. There's a strike. Such a hard thrower. 95, 96 with the fastball. Good looking t-shirt. Off speed pitch there, misses. Pagan, who goes over to his right, and he's got it. And Osich has a 3-up, 3-down, 7th inning. We're moving to the 8th. A's 10, Giants 9.
Dave Henderson and other former A's players for the 2016 Oakland Athletics Fantasy Camp. It's going to be held from January the 15th to 21st at the A's new spring training facility, Mesa, Arizona. Get out of the stands and onto the field. Create lasting memories with former A's greats. For more details, go to hendersonbaseball.com or call 509-993-7338.
Drew Pomeranz stays out there. First pitch to Tomlinson is hit right back up the middle for a base hit. So the tying run is aboard here in the 8th inning. And hit number 16, and Bob Melvin's coming out.
Notice the skipper pulled the pant legs down to his ankles like he normally wears them, had them up high, and as the players did for Barry Zito to start the game. But
he wants dull.
Yeah, he wants dull, and he wants to win.
So Dull's coming in, and there's nobody out with a runner on here in the 8th. That gentleman right there in the white shirt and the sunglasses is Ted Graves. He's our president and general manager at Comcast Sportsnet. Hanging out today with a whole bunch of family and friends, he said. Ted grew up in Hayward, and he has told us from day one his favorite player, Bert Campaneris. He said he loved camping.
He wore number 19 jersey when he threw out the ceremony of first pitch a few years back. And the reason of the forgotten dynasty, to make sure that 72, 3, and 4 world championships were never forgotten. And now he's hoping that Ryan Doe can make the Giants forget about trying to score. Doe last night, inning and 2/3.
He threw 22 pitches last night and gave up a couple of runs in that inning and 2/3. But back out there with the heart of the order, Duffy, Posey, and Bird scheduled to hit with Tomlinson at first. In the dirt, Tomlinson has very good speed at first. I'm not saying he'd be running here, but he has good speed. So the runs he gave up last night, first runs that he has allowed this year, and that also means first runs in his career. He's looking for a ground ball.
Yeah, he finally has an ERA that's not 0.00. Trying to get through this inning and maybe reduce that 1.45 ERA.
Duffy is 3 for 8 in the series with a homer, a double, and a couple of RBIs. And a strike called on the inside corner, 1-1. Roberto Kelly is the third base coach. You can see him going through the signs. Pop up, Canna over, and Canna has it. Big out there.
Well, as a pitcher, you always love to see the excessive foul territory, because instead of giving the hitter another swing, continue the at bat, get it out. Canna reacted, has moved on the runner, so got a good jump to get to the ball and settled under it to make the play.
So Posey steps in. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI single. First pitch toward right. Reddick coming in. Reddick dives. He can't get it, and it rolls past him. And Tomlinson can run. And they're going to hold him up at third. So it'll be a double for Posey.
Well, I hate to say it, that's one that if you're not 100% sure, keep it as a single, keep the double play in order. Now 2 runners in scoring position. Reddick, great effort, but when he reached down, he had nobody to block it. At least it landed softly, did not roll to the wall, and able to get to the ball quickly enough to keep the runner from scoring. But great effort, but unless in this situation, you want to keep runners to where you can double them up. Bird is the hitter, and a good hitter. Tomlinson maybe not able to get the good break because of 1 out. He wanted to make sure.
So here's Bird, second and third, 1 out. Infield comes in. And Bird hits it hard but foul. One thing here for the A's, Bird, a couple of doubles today, but he does strike out a lot. And that is what Dolt could use right here. And that one on the inside corner, and it's 0-2.
That's probably where you want to try to pitch him, because Bird has shown he likes to extend the arms, pulled the ball foul, but also couple of bats ago, hit a double down the right field line. Also a double to right center. Might just extend the arms to go that direction.
Goes in there again, but down and in this time. Crawford, a left-handed hitter, is next. Fold coming in, and Fold makes the catch. Here comes Tomlinson. The throw to the plate is late, and this game is tied. So Marlon Byrd, he did not hit it very well. In fact, I think he broke his bat, but it was deep enough for the sacrifice fly. And A's are saying he may have left early.
Well, somebody was paying attention. They're saying no. Third base umpire said no. That's Adrian Johnson.
Not close.
No. Sam Fold tried to throw off balance, and he had a long way to get to the ball.
Now batting, number 35, Brandon Crawford.
And Laurie's pretty emphatic, but the replay showed that he took his time, and with that kind of speed, no reason to think about leaving early.
So Byrd has 3 RBIs today, 72 on the year. So now it's Crawford who's going to be intentionally walked.
See if that's first and second. That's the second out, and runner still at first and second.
So Mac Williamson is the scheduled hitter, but he's been called back, and it's going to be Diaza, left-handed hitter. So this run is charged to Pomeranz. Dull's inning. The Giants bullpen is quiet as well.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen, for San Francisco. Now batting, number 45, Alejandro Diaza.
So here's Diaza. The Giants have scored 3 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, and 1 here in the 8th, and we are tied. Posey, not great speed at second base. First pitch to Diaza is outside. Diaza was the leadoff hitter last night. He went 0 for 4 with a walk. Missed again, 2-0. Abad just now getting up in the A's bullpen. Missed up and away, 3-0. So that pitch not close. Parker would be next. And it's high, and a 4-pitch walk to Diaza, and now the bases are loaded. Now Abad just started throwing.
Parker against Barry Zito. High fastball, home run left field. A lefty there. Lefties don't bother him because Pomeranz threw a fastball and crushed it to straightaway center field. A 2-run shot off the back wall. First multi-home run game of his young career.
So Parker now with 5 home runs in 26 at bats this year. So Abad looking quickly to get loose.
Now batting, number 47, Jared
So Posey at third, Crawford at second, Diaza at first. Last time, a 3-homer game for the Giants, it was Sandoval. First pitch is hit high and deep to right field. And has he done it again? Are you kidding me? A grand slam for Jarrett Parker. And it's 14-10.
Fastball from Pomeranz, his last at bat, 2-run shot to center, and a first pitch fastball from Doe, and his first grand slam. Man, got the leg up, foot down, and crushed on a bell-time fastball. There's no doubt. I mean, the way he hits the ball, there's no doubt when it leaves his bat. We're down 8-4. 10-7, and now up 14-10.
So Abad in, and the Giants now lead by 4.
Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
So that is the story of the day. That young man right there, Jarrett Parker, has 3 home runs, 5 hits in his last 9 at-bats. All 5 are home runs. He's got 7 RBIs today. So the new pitcher is Abad.
Quite a story, and so many things happen with 2 outs, and one of the toughest things for a manager when a big rally starts with 2 outs, and then you're kind of forced. When Kurt Young went out, Abad not ready to face the lefty, although 2 home runs today have come against the left-handers. So Fernando, with the A's now trailing by 4, and so 3, 2, and 5. Last 3 innings, the scoring for the Giants.
So 18 hits now for San Francisco. One and 2 to Trevor Brown, and the changeup. Brown swings and misses. Side retired. Giants score 5 times, and as we go to the bottom of the 8th, it's now 14-10, San Francisco. 18-1 for the Giants, 10-8-0 for the A's. The Hudson and Zito matchup, well, it was fun. It just did not last very long. And Jared Parker, 3 home runs and 7 RBIs for the Giants. Billy Butler with a 2-run homer. So the A's still have 2 more shots in what has been a wild afternoon of baseball. Trying to keep up on my scorecard, and I'm losing the battle. So bottom of the 8th, and it'll be Osich back out there. Canna, Reddick, and Valencia. Changeup, swing and a miss. Osich had a 3 up, 3 down, 7th inning. Romo starts to get loose. So we got another team in the postseason, Ray. The New York Mets just clinched. In fact, they're starting to celebrate as we speak. So congratulations to the Mets, who won the National League East.
Did it on their own because Washington's still playing. They're tied in the 11th. It's got to be tough for the Nationals to go into the offseason without any possibility of postseason play, considering they were the favorites to win everything.
They sure were. So it's been a little while for the Mets. They're back in it. Great young pitching staff. David Wright, Cespedes.
The run that Cespedes had since he joined the club just turned them around.
Could be playable. Posey. He's got it. Wow. In-depth Raiders coverage every single night, and the home of the official postgame show of the team. Sunday to Sunday, the home of the authentic Raiders fan is CSN. Raiders in Cleveland tomorrow. 10 a.m. kickoff. So 1 away. Here's Reddick. Swing and a miss. Good hard stuff from Osich. So in the National League, it's pretty well set. The Dodgers are the only team that are not in yet. Should happen soon.
The Giants hang on to win, and the Dodgers cannot do it tonight.
No. Maybe tomorrow.
Just if they win, they would tie, but.
So the Mets, the Cardinals, the Pirates, the Cubs, and soon the Dodgers. Bounce slowly. Tomlinson. Quick throw to first, and Posey was able to keep his foot on the bag.
Now the pitcher pulled his glove back. Tomlinson having to hurry. Reddick hustling down the line. Posey showing some ability at first base, adjusting his footwork with the throw. It's very important for a first baseman.
So 2 outs, and here's Valencia. So Osich has retired all 5 hitters that he has faced. First rookie in Giants history with 5 home runs in a 3-game span.
Can't wait for the post-game interviews. There'll be a few.
In for a strike to Valencia, 95 miles an hour. Valencia ground out, a single, a walk, and a single, and he has scored a couple of runs. Big swing by Valencia, and he rolls it foul.
Think of Parker today with the 3 home runs. First one to left, second one to center, third one to right. Huh. Pretty impressive. You can look at September and say it's just September, but with that kind of power and that kind of swing,
how can you not take notice?
Yeah, absolutely. And they save the Giants a lot of money because he's a minimum salary
That's
player.
a good call.
And for all the money coming off the books, and there's an outfielder, they've just found one for a lot less money without having to go out on the market. And he's proven to get the fastball. That's what he's definitely done against the A's.
So it's probably starting tomorrow. He's going to start seeing more breaking balls.
Well, you think about it, the scouting reports show up very quickly, and that's when the adjustments have to take place. Usually you prove you hit the fastball, that's when you start getting the off-speed pitches.
3-2 to Valencia. Bounced off Osage glove, and Valencia's going to have another hit. He leaped up and he got a pretty good glove on it, but could not make the play. So Valencia has his third hit.
Off the glove, and Valencia busted it down the line. And just no throw from the pitcher.
Sniffing a hit. So lefty on lefty now with Vogt. Romo, the right-hander, is ready. So if Osage doesn't get Vogt, he's going to be out of the game. If he doesn't get Vogt, the A's would get the tying run to the plate. So 0-1 the count. Osage has thrown a lot of pitches now. He's up to 25 in his second inning of work. Stephen Vogt is 1 for 3, double and a walk. The way this game is gone, nothing would surprise me. Vogt hits one in the air, but playable toward right field. Bird is under it, and Bird makes the catch. Side retired. So Osage, 2 innings, gives up 1 hit. So we're on to the ninth. 14-10, the Giants lead.
player of the game, and he started with Barry Zito going opposite field to Jarrett Parker, and then he goes straight away center against Drew Pomeranz. And then he wasn't satisfied. He decided to go right field against Brian Doyle. A grand slam, 3-home run game for the Giants left fielder. And deservedly the Honda player of the game for today, second game of this weekend series. And what an afternoon for Jarrett Parker.
Willie Mays, only other player to have 3 homers and 7 RBIs in a game. And he hit 4 that day, and it was in Milwaukee at Oak County Stadium.
He hit one to the wall in center field
to the wall
for the 5th. I think that's the story.
Dan Otero, the new pitcher, and he's facing the top of the Giants order. Giants have 18 hits in the game. Pagan slaps one foul. So Dan Otero on for his 39th appearance this year. A lot of hits, 61 hits in 43 innings. And after his fine season last year, it's hard to figure out the ERA over 7. Good pitch there, and Pagan knew it.
Good comebacker from Dan Otero, and that's the kind of pitch he wants to be able to throw.
Number 37, Kelby Tomlinson.
Not a lot of strikeouts today. That strikeout right there by Otero, just the 4th for A's pitchers. Giants pitchers have only struck out 3. Now both these offenses do not strike out a lot, but still a very low number. Tomlinson has a 4-hit game. And what he's done is he's started the Giants rallies today. So he is 4 for 6. Opposing players with 3 home runs in a game here in this ballpark, only 2.
Number 5,
Manny Ramirez did it in 1999. 1999, he was still with the Indians. First pitch to Duffy, takes a big rip. Duffy's 2 for 5. Runner goes, and the ball's bounced fair. Valencia, long throw across the diamond, and Tomlinson trying for third, and he made it. He never stopped, and he goes all the way from first to third on the ground out. He was moving on the play, but a pretty heads-up base run.
Well, once he was taking off, got to second, saw Valencia deep at third, and once he made his throw to first, very smart play and good play by Canna. A good play in the sense that he made a good throw to third base, because the last thing you want, Tomlinson looking back, saw that once the throw across the diamond, it's very hard to come back to the third base from first to get a speedy runner. Important part of that was the throw by Cannon. It was a good one.
So Posey hits with the runner at third. Eight pitchers used today. We're tying an Oakland record. Sogard, tough little hop, handles it, throws across the diamond side, retired. Runner stranded. Bottom of the ninth. Little work to do for the A's. They trail 14-10. So a wild one today that started out with Zito and Hudson and ended up a slugfest. Bottom of the ninth, last chance for the Athletics as Butler steps in. And the veteran right-hander Sergio Romo comes in. So he'll face Butler, Laurie, and Sogard. And Bruce Bochy's not messing around. He's got a left-handed specialist in Lopez and Casilla. And you just may see them all. You never know. Romo 0-5 this year, his 66th appearance. He's been a workhorse for a long time in that bullpen. And there's a soft line drive, and that's a base hit. So a good start for the A's. And now Laurie will step in.
Jeez, what a surprise. He's a slider. He's a slider master. 6 and 7, 8, so 14 pitchers used.
Yeah, this is number 6, yeah, for the Giants. So Laurie, see if he can get aboard. Laurie has reached on an error, walked, grounded out, and lined out. He has scored a run. Left-handed hitting Sogard, and then after that, left-handed hitting Fold. Into the glove of Duffy, and Butler gets back. So 1 out. And Bruce Bochy's coming out. And he's going to go to Javier Lopez, the lefty specialist. So we'll see if Bob Melvin counters, and he is. He's pulling Sogard back, so we'll see who he sends up there to face Lopez. We'll be back.
$26 priority seating and choose your exact seating location for next season. A's offer a variety of full and partial season plans that qualify for great benefits, including half-price parking, a flexible ticket exchange program, and more. For more information, call 510-638 Ways, or you can visit athletics.com/2016.
Number 10, Marcus Semien.
So Lopez comes in. He's a sidewinding left-hander. Tough on left-handers. So Semien will pinch hit. And that one is lined left field, base hit on the first pitch. So 2 on and 1 out. pitch down a little bit. Simeon went down to get it.
Your attention, please.
As we said, Lopez very tough on lefties, and so Bruce Bochy is going to make another trip and make another pitching change. Safe situation.
So Casillas coming in with 2 on and 1 out here in the ninth. As these two teams wrap this series up, and the A's wrap up their home season here at the Coliseum. It'll feature Sean Nolan and Chris Heston. So a couple of rookie pitchers. Coverage begins at 12:30 with A's Pregame Live, and then complete A's coverage every night on Sportsnet Central and CSNCalifornia.com. Home of A's baseball is CSN. So the A's trying to have a little big-time magic here in the bottom of the ninth. They're down by 4, 2 on, 1 out. And this is the Giants closer, Casillas, who has 35 saves and 40 opportunities. And he's going to face the pinch hitter, Coco Crisp. After Crisp, it'll be Burns.
Well, the way this weird game is going, might as well make it a little bit more crazy.
Would not surprise me at all. Coco has done a good job pinch hitting this year. And the first pitch is a ball. He's 4 for 10 with 3 RBIs. Well, anybody who thought this game would not be interesting in the 9th inning has not been watching the whole game. Outfield pretty shallow for Coco. That one almost hit Billy Burns in the on-deck circle. Only a quick reaction. So 8th pitcher for the Giants. Each team now has used 8. Curve and catches the outside corner. Coco doesn't agree.
Well, that's a good curveball and one that's thrown pretty regularly by Casillas.
Here's the numbers for Coco in this spot. Butler's at second. Simeon's at first. Tried it again, but this one's outside.
Does Burns have a grand slam? Don't think so.
Not yet.
Neither did Parker yet.
swings and misses at a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. So a couple of breaking balls and then a pretty good heater from Casilla.
Elevated fastball and a hitter in the shadow, pitcher coming out of the sunlight, and it's always difficult to try to pick up any rotation on the baseball.
So now Burns steps in, trying to keep this game going with Canna in the on-deck circle. First pitch, just a bit outside. Burns is 1 for 5. Zito started. Still in the dugout. Duffy in at third. Swing and a miss by Burns. Chased the ball. 1-1. That wasn't a ball by a lot, but maybe a little down. Curveball grounded to second. And that's the ball game. So a wild one, a long one. An emotional day for a couple of pitchers, but when it's all said and done, really, the story is a young outfielder by the name of Jared Parker, who hits 3 home runs and knocks in 7 runs. And the Giants take game 2 of this series, so it'll be the rubber game of the series tomorrow. 3 hours and 32 minutes was time of game, and it was another sellout, 36,067. Final score this afternoon, it's the San Francisco Giants 14 and the Oakland A's 10. You've been watching A's Baseball on CSN California, part of the NBC Sports Group. Don't go away. A's Postgame Live with Brody Brazil and Bip Roberts starts right now.